Will be recorded. It's in progress now. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here tonight for our heart health call. My name is Kristen Allen. I am from Troy, Ohio, and I live with my husband and 2-year-old son. And I'm here with my dad, Jeff Schroyer. And this call is really inspired by him and his story. He's going to share that in a minute or so. But yeah, I'm just really excited to help people with prevention and lifestyle, and just hearing my dad's story and what he went through and how that plays such an integral role in recovery and just even prevention for those types of things is huge. We do have a few other speakers that'll be on the call tonight, CJ Addison and Tyler Watson. But before I introduce them, I wanted to just give a few facts around cardiovascular health. Some of you may not know, but cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in America. And in 2023, as of 2023, there's 8 billion people in the world, and around 620 million of those people are living with heart and circulatory diseases across the world. So it's obviously a huge issue that our world is facing, and that's quality of life, that people could be having, and people just lost too early. And so what are things that influence our cardiovascular health? Some of you might recognize some of these, but blood pressure, blood lipids, homocysteine, which is a biomarker, and then blood vessel elasticity. So, just taking a look at those things in your personal health can really bring that awareness to maybe some things that we can do to improve and even get better on our health journey. And so tonight we're going to talk about, some of those things: fitness, nutrition, and even mindset and attitude. And, even though genes play a big part of our health and our overall life, about 80% of those things of genes can be turned on and off by our lifestyle and how we care for our minds and our bodies. So I'm really excited, number one, to encourage you. This call is not at all to judge you for where you are. Many people have struggles, whether or not they're known or not. I really believe you'll get something positive out of this call and resources for your journey. So I'm going to stop talking and let my dad do some talking. But tonight will be Q&A style, so question and answer for our speakers. And I'm just going to introduce my dad real quick. He is 59 years young and just doing awesome after his recent experience. But the question I'm going to ask him is, was there ever a moment in your life where you knew something was wrong, but you did not act on it?
Well, it happened to me on the morning of July 26th, 2022. At 3 a.m., I woke up suddenly with level 9 pain in my mid back. And I woke up my wife to rub my back because I was in excruciating pain. And she medicated me. Neither one of us at the time thought it was a heart attack because I didn't have the frontal chest pain, and I didn't have an elephant sitting on my chest like you hear it happens to other people. After pain coming and going for the next 14 hours, I decided to drive myself to the Kettering Hospital in Troy. My wife couldn't take me at the time because she had COVID, and I had COVID as well. So I sat there in the emergency room for 5 hours as they ran tests. The last test they did was an EKG, which is probably the one they should have done first, because that revealed that I had had a coronary event, and it was not good. After they discovered that, they put me in the back of an ambulance and rushed me to the Dayton Kettering Hospital, Heart Hospital, and I underwent a stenosis procedure. And the doctor, after he'd put 2 stents in and after my wife had come out to talk to him, he said that I was lucky to be alive. But I know it wasn't luck because it was my Lord watching after me. He said I had a widowmaker heart attack, and he told my wife that it was in the LAD, which is the left anterior descending artery, and it was 100% blocked, as well as the RCA, the right coronary artery, and it was blocked at 100% as well. And then there's a third artery that runs through your heart that's major, and it was 50% blocked. He also told us that too much time had passed, and what that means is time is tissue. The longer you go with tissue that's not getting blood supply, it's dying. We found out later from our coronary doctor in Cleveland, because I have a heart team in Cleveland as well, at the Cleveland Clinic. That doctor had told us that only 12% of people survive this event. And it's even less of a percentage when it goes untreated for a prolonged period of time. And I went almost 20 hours untreated. So that percentage dropped quite a bit. It was probably more like in the 5% range. He also told us that our heart has collateral arteries, and this is big. Collateral arteries are arteries that move into service when your main arteries aren't working or they're closed. And I had lots of good collateral arteries. And it's wonderful how God designed the body to aid itself when it's in harm's way. And that's what these collateral arteries are. I then realized that the Lord was preparing me for what I was going to go through, and why was I thankful for it. I had great people feeding into my life along the journey before it even happened. I had great nutrition available to me. My daughter, my wonderful daughter, Kristen, had really shared a lot of good health tips with me, and even prepared food for me at times. That was good stuff to eat. I was on Juice Plus for 5 years prior to the heart attack, which also aided in the development of those collateral arteries working. Also, the exercise portion of it was big too. I did some CrossFit training in the gym and at home, as well as some jogging and walking. But if I could leave a few things about my journey that I think are real beneficial, is first of all, I just kept the Lord first in my life, and I do it on a daily basis. I did it before the heart attack, and I do it even more now than I did before. And second of all, you got to listen to your body and feed it the proper nutrition and give it the proper exercise, because our body is just like a brain. I mean, you have to exercise it. You have to feed it the right things. And then you got to learn to keep stress off your body. And in my case, that was the biggest thing, because my DNA in my family history, there was no history of heart disease. So I was like one of the first ones that had dealt with this. And the doctors told me it was probably stress related, because they knew everything else I was doing. And so I had to make some decisions. So I quit my job, basically did early retirement. And I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of my wonderful friends and family. And I want to feed into their life and try to be an example for them so that I can help them as well. So that is it.
Thanks. That just gets me so excited because, I think we all have maybe experienced some type of health challenge in our life and can know how dark those times can be and discouraging. But one thing I look up to my dad is that he never let this experience get him down. And he really fought to be consistent with these changes in his life and really just putting the Lord first. And it just really inspires me to see how that even impacted his health and his mindset and just his journey. So Thank you, Dad. That was really good. All right, so our next speaker is CJ Addison, my dear friend. She is from Texas, and she lives near her son and her two grandchildren, who she loves dearly. And she has taught aquatic fitness at medical wellness centers, local YMCAs, and health clubs for almost 30 years. Many of her she focuses on groups and private sessions, and many of her clients who have, maybe impaired movement or disabilities are able to get that exercise because it's in the water. And so it's just a really powerful way to, influence good heart health, but just health in general. She's also an in-home respite care provider and is passionate about spreading health and wellness wherever she goes. So I'm going to ask CJ her first question. How has working in your field of fitness and health opened up your eyes to the need for prevention in our society? Hold on a sec, Siege. We got to unmute you.
So
There you go. You're good.
I thought so. So, way before I was really involved in the whole fitness thing, I just noticed that people in my meetings, people I was around at church, etc., way overweight. And I was like, how can I help them? How can I help them? And it really, until I started really delving into the whole fitness thing from a medical point of view and understanding how to help people in the water, I didn't know how to help. So having been in the water now and helping folks for so many years, it's such a blessing to hear their comments on how much better they feel, their results they're getting. And once we are in the water, that means we can move and we can develop that core strength that we need for really stabilizing the whole body. Yeah, it's not even hardly a question for me. It's just like, we got to do this. And if we can get out there and help people move any way possible, we just got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super good. Yeah, you physically saw with your eyes and then you got into action. And I know it's made a difference in a lot of people's lives. What does the impact of exercise, what you're doing specifically, have on cardiovascular health?
Well, to tell you the truth, the biggest thing, my really target market is the older crowds. They're probably 60 and up. And they're folks that haven't really, maybe they were an athlete at one time, but now they have knee issues and back issues, hip issues, feet issues. They can't run, they can't walk, riding a bike's not going to happen. So when I get them in the water, we can do with very little weight bearing activity, and we hit that cardio intensities that we need to hit. And in the water, we use what's called rate of perceived exertion. So I'll do interval style training where it's easy for a few seconds and then it's hard for 20 seconds, or you can divide that up any way you want. Lately, I've got a new crowd here in Texas, and they are not used to working out the way I work out. So we are, I feel like a coach with a bunch of recruits, and they are eating up every word I say. But I started them on 10 seconds easy, 10 seconds moderate, and 20 seconds hard. And we will do a couple of sets of that, move on to something else. But all this time I'm watching them. I'm like, well, how you doing? You needing more? Are you okay? So that rate of perceived exertion is really big in the water. We don't stop to check our heart rate in the water. Plus, it's not the same as on land. You typically have your target heart rate you're after. In the water, you got to add like 15 or 17 beats to that because the water's helping to return the blood flow. So we just go on rate of perceived exertion on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel like you've worked hard? If you didn't, then you probably could work harder. Don't be so afraid. If you worked, we want you in the 6 to 8. We want you to feel like you worked hard. but not for a whole hour. People can't do that, but they can do it sporadic moments. And sometimes I'll just do a long endurance run in the water. I call it a dog jog, where it's cross country, but we gradually speed up the cross country. Cross country is just like an elliptical, but in the water with resistive factors on our body, the water. And that it gets them every time. I think the dog jog is actually harder because for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, depending on how fit they are, we gradually speed up. We're not slowing down. So once you speed up, I'm teaching them to have endurance too. So once you speed up, you keep that pace. And then at the end, you can stop or we keep moving. But yeah, making it fun is just a huge factor for these folks to want to come back. Throwing in a joke here and there. My phone just did something weird.
That's okay. You're good.
But between the interval style workouts, easy, moderate, hard, and then return back to easy, moderate, hard is fabulous for anybody of any condition. And then work in that endurance and try to make it fun. Because just running 10 miles can be like, oh my God, really? I got to do that again. So how can we make it fun so they can get their workout?
Mhm.
So yeah, to
Super
me,
good.
that's the biggest thing about the in the water cardio is
Yeah.
I can't do what I'm doing on land in the water
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
I have used to.
Yeah.
So
I want to go on a dog jog now or whatever you called it. That was awesome.
well, it's
Um,
in essence like starting slow, right? When you run and then just keep speeding up.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself for the
I
race.
I would say what you're saying though definitely translates to even exercise on land because I think
Oh, sure.
sometimes we think we got to spend an hour exercising. We can actually get a really productive workout in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of,
Literally proven that 30-minute bouts of interval style workout is worth 4 hours of just steady state on a cardiovascular level. So do you want to work out for an hour and a half or do you want to do 4 hours?
Yeah.
So, and it really depends on the people and what they can handle. But yeah, I'm always testing them on intervals for sure.
That's good. I'm gonna move on just to look at our
Oh, yeah.
time. But how does nutrition play a role in fitness prevention and recovery?
Yeah, I couldn't do what I do without proper getting my protein, proper nutrition. I've been doing the Juice Plus 7, 8 years. Kristen turned it on to me because I kept getting sick, and I was like, Kristen, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm in fitness. I think I'm eating right, and every time I turn around, I'm getting sick again. And so she said, well, try this, and I tried to, the berries, or I tried the fruits and vegetables and greens first, and then I added the berries, and all of a sudden, I don't get sick anymore. I just simply don't get sick. And it is the only thing I changed was that. And then later, I started learning about organic foods and proper eating. But yeah, you can't do just fitness without good nutrition. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Super good.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, you can't what is the quote? Like you can't exercise out or I don't know how to say it, but exercise a bad diet is you just can't.
And I see my clientele. Well, I come and I'm here 2 hours, 5 days a week, and I still can't lose weight. And I really want to dive into their whole nutrition and dissect what they're eating. But I'm a trained fitness professional, so I have to watch my balance of how much I can push and how much I can talk. And so during a class situation, that's where I talk more general. And if they become my clients, that's where I can bring in the more one-on-one. Well, let's think about your food. And yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
need, yeah.
love that. So I mean, this kind of rolls into the next question of kind of
Yeah.
what you're saying, but how does mindset and attitude play a role in results and lifestyle and overall health?
Well, with my new recruits, they're not used to putting their mind into their muscle. So it's like I got to teach them everything. They're used to just getting in the water and, meandering around. But here, I can do one exercise and change it very slightly, and the movement, the muscle that we're working is different. So if they're not thinking, I can do this, or if they don't have a mindset of more of an athletic mindset, then they're not going to get the results they want. They're not focused. They're just hanging out. If you're not focused, don't complain if you're not seeing results. And I always tell them, we're still athletes, right? We're 60 plus. We're still athletes. We just play in a different sports league. It's the ADL Sports League, Activities of Daily Living Sports League. So let's get after it, gang. And you know what? It really helps when I'm smiling, having a good time, making it fun. They want to come back. If they don't come back, you've lost them. So the main thing we got to do is get them to commit to coming back, get them to having fun, and then teach them how to really work out again. Maybe some of these folks were never athletes. That's just the way it is. So they don't know how to put their mind in the muscle. And here they are in their senior years learning how to be athletically minded. Yeah, it's huge. It's
That's
huge.
so, I love the verbiage around that, minded to the muscle. It's so good. I love that. And that takes time to build that awareness, and that's awesome.
Yes.
So the last question for you, what would you tell someone who is struggling with cardiovascular challenges or wants to improve their health?
Yeah, this is so big. And I remember an article I read on Ernestine Shepherd. She's currently still working out and very active. She's 87 years old. And in 2010, she was the oldest competitive female bodybuilder. If you haven't read anything about her or seen her books, you should look up Ernestine Shepherd. It will absolutely inspire you. And I've been quoting what she has said for years, and it's take baby steps. She did not start working out till she was 56 years old. And she was one of these secretaries that like sweets, which is kind of easy when everyone brings it in the office, right? And then she got committed, changed things, and really sparked up and got into the fitness. And she's so inspiring. And her other thing is start baby steps, start slow, baby steps. Do something that you like, find something you like to do. And I love the water. It's just perfect for me. So once you start working out, it's a whole new ball game. You can have those cardiovascular problems, but you got to get in there and you have to start working out somehow, little baby steps. And don't listen to what other people say that you're too old. You're never too old to start. And that to me is so key. You're just not too old to start exercising. She's living proof of it. And you should see her biceps. They're impressive.
I'm going to look her up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, CJ, for that information and just your love and all your information. It was really good. Cool. So we're going to transition to our next speaker. This is our last speaker of the night. It's Tyler Watson, and he is local to Tip City and runs his own community of health and fitness. He has owned Centered CrossFit, which is a gym, for about 4 years, if I've got my facts right. And he is a level 3 CrossFit trainer, has over 12 years of experience, and has helped many people with physical and mental transformations. In the years I've known Tyler, he's very passionate and focused about his craft. He doesn't let distractions get in his way. And it's been super inspiring to grow under him as a coach myself. And just to help people learn to move their bodies well so that they can live well. And so I just love that passion that's there. I'm excited for him to share tonight. CJ, are you muted? Okay, cool. Thanks. All right. So yeah, I'm going to ask the same questions, but Tyler, I don't know if you're unmuted, but how has working in your field of fitness and health opened up your eyes to the need for prevention in our society?
Yeah, I think first of all, thanks for having me on. Secondly, CJ, if you ever move to Ohio, I'm gladly hire you. So that was awesome. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, just like with what Kristen said, a little bit of background. Oh, and disclaimer: if you hear Miss Rachel in the background, my 1-year-old is rocking out to some Miss Rachel YouTube. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry. But yeah. So one more time on that question. I just wanted to get my thank
No,
yous
you're
out of the
good.
way.
You're good. How has working in your field of fitness and health opened up your eyes to the need for prevention in our society?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge question, and that question is more so like the catalyst to everything that I do. So the whole phrase, you know, that idea of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That is the whole reason why I own multiple fitness locations and do everything that I do. Because if you can get ahead of all of these issues on the front end, it is way easier to manage than once you're actually going down the trail. If I've been sick, and then you're into the whole medical debacle that is happening in mainstream medicine. So like everything we do is lifestyle fitness. And the whole idea, a lot of what CJ said is our approach as well. So it's doing something, just beginning and kind of meeting you where you're at to be able to stair step towards better. And that's kind of the whole idea, is looking around and identifying all the sickness and obesity and things like that that is rampant in our country. It's really important that the people like us are out there and offering solutions for people who want to make a difference in their life. So a lot of what I do is I focus on being available for anyone who wants to make a change and recognizing that not everyone wants to. And so we're offering solutions for the people that are willing to make the uncomfortable decision to better their health and better their fitness. So yeah, I mean, the reason, you know, it's a sad thing to say, but the condition of our country makes my job really easy, because there's a lot of job security in helping people get healthy because of how unhealthy everyone is.
Yeah, a super high value to everything you just said. Super good. What does the impact of what you're doing with exercise have on cardiovascular health?
Sure. Can I believe I can share my screen here. Let me hit this button. Oh, host has it disabled. Is there any way I could get that on there?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, disable. If not, I can just kind of roll. But everything that we do is based on this idea of a sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. And so the idea being, when you first start out, you kind of need to do some basic homework. You need to see, like, where's your blood pressure, where's your body fat, what's your bone density, your triglycerides, your HDL, cholesterol, like where are you at currently? And that will put you on the spectrum of sickness, wellness in the middle, and then fitness on the extreme side. And fitness looks extreme. Like fitness looks like, you know, crazy people running sub 4-minute miles, and it looks like power lifters lifting thousands of pounds and things like that. And it's all the way over there. It's bodybuilders having really you know, low body fat percentages. And then there's wellness, which is this hedge of protection between fitness and sickness. And so wellness is where a lot of people walk around at. But the problem with just being well is you're a cold away from being permanently sick or chronically ill. And so our whole goal is to help people get as close to fitness as they can. And I think CJ's examples of a lot of the people she helps is spot on with exactly what we do. You know, if somebody's sitting on the couch watching TV all day, every day, and she can get them to swim for an hour a week or an hour a couple days a week, that's moving them from that sick state of being sedentary over to more of a fitness range. And so that's exactly what I do as well. We do that through nutrition first and foremost. That's the foundation of everything. The next thing we work on is basic conditioning. And then from conditioning, it's, can you control your body through things like push-ups and pull-ups and squats? And then from there, can we add external loads? So can we add stressors like kettlebells, dumbbells, plates, all those things? And then the last thing we do is we like to do sport-specific work. So like, for instance, if you're a firefighter, can you climb a ladder? If you're a stay-at-home mom, can you pick up your kids and carry them across the room? And so those are more like sport specific, real life applications of our development process. But the idea is we start with a good sound nutrition, and then we want to build them all the way through all those different levels of development. And I think the most important thing CJ said that I would echo is if fitness isn't fun, you're never going to do it. So if you know your idea of fitness is running a marathon, like there's only a few people that want to do that. You know, the rest of us would like to work out for a half hour to an hour a day, maybe not even every day, and be able to get some results. And so that's where we kind of thrive. Is all of our programs are roughly an hour in length, and it allows people to just kind of stair step their way, meet them where they're at, and progress through their fitness levels.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for all of that. It's super good. You did mention this a little bit, but would you share more about how nutrition plays a role in what you're doing with fitness, but also prevention and recovery?
Yeah, I mean, fitness in short, our fitness protocol is really simple. It's eat meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. An emphasis on no sugar. Sugar is definitely destroying this company's health, or this country's health. And when I'm talking about sugar, I'm not saying like, oh, you had an apple. I'm saying like, no, you went to the store and you grabbed a Mountain Dew, a Twinkie, and whatever else, right? And sometimes it's not even that obvious. Sometimes it's a fruit juice that's labeled as healthy, that's loaded in sugar. You know, anything that has processed sugar in it is pretty much the catalyst for most people's sickness. And so like things like diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, all of those can be really easily traced back to an overdose of sugar in your diet. And so that's kind of one of the big things is we stick to holistic, whole foods, and we stay away from processed foods like sugar. Alcohol is a big one as well. So sugar and alcohol are kind of like this evil thing we put in the corner. And then we try and stick to organic, not always organic, but more so whole foods, to kind of fill in the calories that you need. So that if you don't like working out, the easiest thing in the world is just to have a healthy nutrition protocol. Because like you need the physical exertion, but many of us have active lifestyles anyway, where you're out, you're walking a lot with work and things like that. So if you're at least fueling your body well, you're most of the way there. And so that's kind of why that's the foundation of everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to end on this question, but you're talking about a lot of really good things that I think many people have tried to implement but aren't successful with. How would you include mindset and attitude in that? Or just what would you say to that person that, wants to make those changes or has failed? How can they step into maybe a more successful journey with that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing I said here is fitness, or what I do is CrossFit, but any fitness, any journey towards health, it starts with the idea of health is for anyone, it's not for everyone, right? And the emphasis there is that anyone is you have to be willing to make that decision to be better, right? And the reality is it's a light switch. You have to make the choice, I'm going to be better. And the mindset piece is I don't have to be 100% better tomorrow. I have to be 1% better tomorrow. I have to be 1% better the day after that. And you need to just start making these steps towards better. And there's another reality that's kind of harsh, and that's like if you're familiar with AA or any of the recovery protocols for alcoholics or drug addicts, the number one thing that you have to be willing to admit is that you have a problem. The number one thing people have to be willing to admit is they are not healthy. And that reality is very obvious to me when they come in and I say, hey, can you just like jog across the room? And they can't do that. And it's somebody that you think should be able to do it, like it's just an everyday person walking down the street. And so the reality is most people, that surround our community or that fill our community are at a state of sickness or unwell. And so I think the most important thing is you need to self-assess and you need to acknowledge, hey, I have a problem. I'm not healthy. I'm not fit, right? I'm not even in well. Like I need to make a change in my life. And I think if you have that self-awareness and that determination to be better, then it's just finding a community of people that will support you on your journey and just showing up day in and day out, having fun with it, and just being committed. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is this assumption that it has to be perfect. And it certainly does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be incrementally better. And it can be small things like removing the soda or the pop that you drink every day. You know, it can be replacing really unhealthy fast food sandwich with something that you made at home. And so just little things like that can dramatically improve your life. And again, it doesn't have to be an extreme fitness protocol, but it can be. And I think it all comes back to it's for anyone, and it's you know, determined by that person's willingness to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are really, really good keys and what did I say? Golden nuggets that you shared. And I would say with my experience being in your community and, you know, starting from a brand new person 4 years ago to where I am now, I feel like there's no way I would have been able to get the growth or the results without the community. And just just having people to keep you accountable goes a long way. And so everything you shared with that was really, really good.
But I think one of the
Go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off, but I think one of the things to tie kind of all three of us presenters together that's really important, like with your dad's journey, stress is a major component to that. And stress is this thing that is actually a really, really beneficial thing for your body when handled appropriately, right? Like stress is adding weight to a barbell. Stress is putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. The problem is you have to learn how to process that, and you have to have tools to get through that. And when it comes to mental health, camaraderie and community is one of the biggest tools that we have to combat that. And so that's why CJ's fitness group in the pool is so beneficial. She has a group of people that are there having fun, and they're committed to showing up for each other. They're committed to having fun. And in doing so, they're learning tools to do hard things together, to cope through stresses and things like that. And so that's why I firmly believe in group fitness. I don't think, you know, I know a lot of people that work out in their garage, and a lot of times they're the ones that are having heart attacks, or they're the ones having major issues because they lack that ability to tie in and manage and just work together and let others help carry that load. So I think that's a really important piece to it, is having that community aspect.
For sure. Thank you so much, Tyler. Really, really awesome sharing. I'm going to end the recording here. I don't know.